I'm Dr. Revels, and you're listening to the REVELSations podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. And remember, we're all family and friends here, so you can call me Rev. Share it with somebody. Let them know you're listening to the REVELSations podcast. Let's get this channel growing. Let's help the world become a better place, one verse at a time. The topic of today's short talk is copycat. Copycat. Let's get to some dictionary definitions so that we're all on the same page here on the REVELSations podcast like we like to do. Here we go. Definition number 1, to copy. It's a noun, a thing to be made similar or identical to another. The verb form, to make similar or identical version of something, to reproduce it, to produce it again in its form. Also, copy is also synonymous with trace. That is, to copy it by drawing over its original lines and doing it again. Okay? It is to superimpose one thing onto another, superimpose one thing to another, and then to follow, right? To copy, follow my lead, right? Copy, do what I do. As copy said, be similar, be identical to another. To follow, to go or come after a person or thing preceding ahead, to move or travel behind. And I'm here to tell you that if we are copying or we are following, we are always behind. Let's get into it. We live in a world of social media. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on all the social media platforms. We're following, but we're not doing a lot of leading. And I would argue that we need a lot more leaders and less followers in this world, because oftentimes the leaders are having us go down a terrible path. Look at the world we live in today. Do we like it? I don't want to sit here and say that the world is the worst it's ever been. I don't know. I've only been alive during the time that I've been alive, but some pretty bad things is going on in the world. People are hate-filled. People default to anger. People want to be upset. And oftentimes people gain a large following by doing things that aren't necessarily the best in the world, right? Controversy sells. People want to see arguing. People want to see fighting. People want to see things that are a little bit messy or a little bit drama filled. And then what happens? Someone else comes along and they copy or they trace or they follow the same pattern. And while I'll admit it is good to have patterns laid out in front of us, to know how to get to a certain destination, but just know that if we are following and if we are copying and if we're tracing or we're doing like another, we are actually not leading and we're just following. We're always behind. So take it to the business realm, away from social media. Take it to the business realm. When you have one business who is trying to copy the formula or trace the formula or follow behind another, that original business will always be a step ahead as long as the second business is always copying or following. The second business will never get out of the shadow of the first unless that first business decides to, you know what, I'm going to blaze my own path. They're saying go straight here. I'm going to veer off a little bit left or veer off a little bit right and do my own thing. So I think we should be more trailblazers. I think we should be leaders and not necessarily followers. Of course, we're going to consume other things, but when we consume them, let's take them, change them to where they fit our personality, they fit our goals, they fit our aspirations. And instead of just following the pattern of somebody else, look at it, observe it, and then create our own path. Because again, if you're copying, you're always behind. It has been said that when the world is zigging, we should do zagging. You've heard of that, the zigzag. Zigzag definition is a line or course having abrupt alternate turns, rights and lefts, right? Going in straight and then boom, you turn right abruptly or left abruptly. And oftentimes when the world is zigging, the best investors, the best businesses, the best sports teams, the best great things, they zig when everybody else is zagging. They're at the forefront. They're our leaders. They're leading. They're not following because they want to be at the cutting edge. And remember, as long as you are following, as long as you are copying, as long as you are tracing, you are always behind. By definition of the word and by concept of the word, we are always behind. So, do you want to be a leader? or do you want to be a follower? Do you want to continue to copy? We should observe. We should look. We should gather information, but I don't necessarily know if we should copy and follow all the time. Maybe the first couple steps, maybe follow the pattern at the beginning, but after a while, it might be great if we were able to branch out on our own, do our own thing, take the risk. It is risky, but beyond that great risk is a great reward. I've always heard that your blessing, your goal is right beyond the thing that you're not willing to do. And the thing oftentimes you're not willing to do is because you haven't seen someone do it before. And I know there's a saying, it's hard to be what you can't see. And I believe that. It is. Oftentimes it is hard to be what you can't see. I haven't seen somebody do this great thing. So how do I know that I can? Well, I can tell you that you can't if you're just following. You might be able to achieve it, but you'll never go beyond the person that you're following until you step out and blaze your own path. So let's continue to grow. Let's go from that following and copying stage and that tracing stage out to being a leader. Let's zig when other people zags, and let's stop being copycats. What do you think? Let me know. Drop a comment. Thank you again for listening to the REVELSations podcast. I am because we are. Hallelujah, holla back. Peace.
Yeah, the revelations now televised. A platform for you and I. And now look with full heart and clear eyes. Now, these are just my thoughts. Truth on how I feel on these topics I reveal. Please know my toll, I always keep it real. Can't face the word if you can't face facts. For your time, just open up your mind. That's it, just live, think big, now take that. With God in me, this here was made by design. Yeah, the revelation will be televised. REVELSations.